Hi, I'm Sheri Blanks, your hostess tonight for Rockitz TV. It is week 2. Check out the fabulous sign that we have back here, week 2 of Rockitz TV. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 till 3 on Mix 103.7. I also have a band called Pucker, and you can check us out at puckerupsucker.com. We do some shows in New York on the weekend, fresh from a New York road trip, actually. And I also attended VCU's Fine Music School.
Well, thank you for doing that.
Yes, 1988, took a few classes there and ended up with a finance degree.
Excellent.
Thanks to you.
All musicians should.
Our guest tonight, Antonio Garcia. He is the Director of Jazz Studies at Virginia Commonwealth University. Welcome, Tony.
Thank you, Sheri.
Good to have you here. I believe I hear the phone's ringing already.
It's amazing. Should we take a call this soon?
Would you like to?
Well,
Are you scared?
Let's see. Could be a technician, could be
Okay.
a real thing. Let's see. Hello, you're on the air at Comcast.
Hey, what is this show?
Well, this show is about VCU jazz.
Oh, I thought it was a rock and roll.
That would be another week.
You should change your song in the back.
Well, thank you for calling.
I like it though.
All right,
Great.
have a good evening.
Thanks. Good
Bye-bye. All right, we're off to a fast start.
Great. Can I brag about you a little bit here?
Okay, feel free.
Tony is also an associate professor of music at VCU, where he directs the fabulous jazz orchestra and also instructs various jazz courses there. And you've performed on various instruments with over 70 major artists. That's unbelievable, including Ella Fitzgerald, Phil Collins, Dave Brubeck, Mel Torme, just to name a few. And with all of that going on in your life here, you find time to be the associate editor for the International Trombone Association Journal. And you're also the former editor of the Jazz Education Journal. Where do you find the time, Tony?
Well, it's a busy day, but a good day, and it's a great opportunity for me to network with my colleagues around the country and around the world, so it gives me a perspective, not only here in Richmond, Virginia, but throughout the other areas, and that helps me and my students.
Great, and just a few more things. Your articles and publications have been widely published, and your website for all of you is www.garciamusic.com. You have MP3 files on there? And
there are some sound video files, not MP3s, but the non-downloadable kind.
Okay, great. Also, last week, Brad Armstrong was the guest here, so thanks, Brad, for appearing on Rockitz TV's first show there last week.
I watched it.
All right, and I'm proud to be a part of show number 2. Do we have another call there?
I think they've passed on it.
Screening? Are you screening?
Maybe another rock and roll call.
Yeah, another rocker. Okay. Tony, would you like to tell us a little bit about VCU's Jazz Studies program?
I'd be happy to. It's been a great opportunity for me to work with them for the last 4 years. The jazz program was founded over 20 years ago by Doug Richards, who still teaches jazz arranging there and has done fabulously there for almost 25 years. And there are about 50 or 60 jazz majors, freshmen through seniors. We have a couple of grad students as well. And they take a variety of courses leading to a Bachelor of Jazz Studies degree. So they take writing, performing, arranging, jazz history, and various other kinds of music courses leading to their career. So it's a great opportunity for me to jump onto a train that has really been rolling so well for over 20 years, and it gives me the opportunity to grow with them as I enjoy also teaching them. I have great colleagues there. I have about a dozen colleagues on the jazz faculty, and they do terrific work day in and day out.
Is David Cordell still there?
No, David left a few years ago, although I understand he may be heading out to another part of the country. But he was chair, I think, probably when you were there.
Yeah.
I think he's heading out west, and he'll be doing that. I think we have a call.
Great.
Let's check this out. Good evening. You're on Comcast Rockitz TV.
Hello, this is the Rock Man. What kind of music do you like to listen to? Do you like a little bit of that?
Well, I'm originally from New Orleans, and so I love all kinds of...
Or you like the jazz situation with some horn action?
Well, the thing about New Orleans is that there's music of all kinds in every block. There's R&B, there's country, there's metal, there's bluegrass, there's Zydeco, there's straight-ahead jazz, there's Dixieland. So it really gave me an opportunity that I was unfamiliar with until I left as to what a great melting pot it was. I got to hear all kinds of music there that if I had grown up in some other part of the country, perhaps I wouldn't have had that opportunity. So I like an awful lot of different kinds of music, and I think that helps influence my jazz as well.
It sounds like there's a smorgasbord of music down there. Do you like Buckwheat Zydeco? You ever heard of him?
The Zydeco music is great. I mean, it's got along with straight out Cajun like Beausoleil and other
I like
roots
some
like
of
that.
that.
And all of that kind of music influences jazz. I mean, one of the definitions of jazz is that it tends to absorb different kinds of styles around it and then add other elements like improvisation to it that maybe are not as present in the original kinds of music. So I like all those kinds of music, and my students probably like even more kinds of music than I do, and that comes out in their music. Well, thanks for calling.
Man
He's
with the
going to
banjo.
play a little banjo and take us out there.
Of course, on Bourbon Street, everything sounds good, right?
Well, you know the old musician's adage, the more they drink, the better we sound.
Yes, busy man.
Well, let's see who's
Why
on line
not?
one here. Hello there, you're on Comcast Rockitz TV.
Hello?
Hello there.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Hey.
That would be hi again.
No, what are y'all doing?
We're doing all right, and we're talking about jazz, about VCU jazz in particular, Virginia Commonwealth University. What are you doing?
We're on Comcast Channel 6. You can probably listen to yourself right now if you turn us on, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, give us a call back later if you've got
hey.
something to ask about.
Hello? Oh, yeah. What is this stuff called,
I'm sorry
Is
we
it-
lost you there,
Is it
but
one of your students prank calling us, maybe? What do you
well,
think?
hopefully all my students are out working this evening. So perhaps we should spin some of the music that we're talking about with our students.
Sure, that sounds good. Would you like to introduce your first video here?
I'd be happy to. Throughout the evening, we're going to be playing several videos of students and faculty throughout VCU, and I've been looking at DVDs from concerts in the last year, and this first one is from a concert just a month or so ago in April. It's called Sunday Sermon. It's a gospel kind of piece written by a great jazz composer named Don Sebesky.
Yes.
And you'll hear a lot of different performers, students play in this. It lasts about 15 minutes. I want to advise our viewing audience that it'll start with a dark picture because it starts just with piano on a dark stage, and then it does lighten up and you'll see everybody there. I think you'll enjoy it. You'll hear about a half dozen different soloists in this gospel kind of piece. So this is Sunday Sermon by Don Sebesky.
Here we go. Great. Thanks.
Nice.
McCormick at the piano. Matt Wittig on trumpet. Brian Hooten, trombone. Ron Fix at the Barry saxophone. Reg Pace, trombone. Patrick Turner at the bass. Matt White on guitar. Jason Arce, lead alto. And Alan Sleeman at the drums.
Hello, I'm Sheri Blanks. We're back with week 2 of Rockitz TV, and my guest tonight, Antonio Garcia, Director of the Jazz Studies Program at Virginia Commonwealth University.
Thank you, Sheri.
And what did everyone just enjoy on TV there?
Well, again, if you happen to tune in during the middle of that segment, that was the Jazz Orchestra 1 from Virginia Commonwealth University playing Sunday Sermon, a composition by Don Sebesky at a concert just a month ago on April 26th. And that was actually the opening tune from our concert at that time. And if you watched that video segment, you saw me credit all the soloists at the end of that cut.
Great, it was great. A few more questions for you. Do you have time?
I do.
Okay. What do the jazz students at VCU go on to do in their careers after they leave VCU?
Well, that's a great question. It's certainly one of the parents ask when they come in with the students as they're seniors in high school, and my son or daughter are thinking about majoring in jazz, and how quickly should I talk them out of it? But really, there are a lot of various things that people can do with a jazz degree. Once you're on the bandstand, nobody cares whether you have a degree or not. It's really all about how you play. But the school gives you the opportunity to gain the kind of experience you need. And we have students who certainly perform locally or regionally. We have students who perform nationally, former students such as Steve Wilson, who's performed with Chick Corea and various other artists. And Alvesta Garnett, who's a drummer with the great violinist Regina Carter and others. And so a variety of opportunities to perform and also to teach throughout the country is typical of the jazz major.
And a fan is calling you.
I think we've got a call. Let's see who's here. Hello, you're on Rockitz TV.
Tony Garcia.
That's me.
Ken Bowie here.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
I'm great. I met you once before, maybe a couple of times.
Ken's one of our alums from VCU. Am I correct that you play the drums?
That's correct.
Nice to hear from you, Ken. What can I do for you?
I just wanted to say thank you for the outreach. Your appearance on TV tonight and the jazz newsletter that you send out via email.
Well, thanks for
I
that.
get all the time. So it's turned me on to a couple different things that I've caught around town in the way of music and jazz. So I don't know how many other people are picking up on that, but it's great.
Well, I appreciate you mentioning that. I send the e-newsletter out to about 900 people around the country, most of them in Richmond area. And if any of our listeners would like to get on the VCU Jazz e-newsletter list, they can email me at ajgarcia, AJGARCIA, at vcu.edu. Thanks for the great plug there, Ken. That was a great setup.
You bet. Hey, the tune sounded great. The Jazz Orchestra 1 sounded good.
Thanks. It's
very dynamic. A lot of great things going on in there. The trombone solo with the mute was great. The drum breaks on the end were great. A lot of things happening there. I really enjoyed that tune.
Well, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Ken, does Tony have your number in case I need a drummer sometime soon?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
My name's Ken Bowie, and I'm in the book.
Thanks, Ken.
Hard to find.
Appreciate you calling in.
Thanks
Alrighty,
for
bye.
calling. Thanks.
Sounds like that'd be a great setup for a new piece of music.
Yes. Would you like to introduce it?
This will be a piece called Fun Time by Sammy Nestico,
Great,
the Jazz
enjoy.
Orchestra 1.
Enjoy. Thanks.
Bryce McCormick at the piano.
That was Bryce
Joining us
McCormick
again
at the
on the
piano,
second
and
half
that was
here.
the VCU Jazz
This
Orchestra
next chart.
1 at that same concert from April 26th, playing a great Sammy Nestico composition called Fun Time. Sammy Nestico used to write for the Count Basie band regularly. Matter of fact, he occasionally still does. And playing his swing music is probably one of the staples of jazz bands around the country and teaching jazz styles to the up-and-coming students. And they're all great fun charts to play. So that was a concert from just a month ago.
It was great, and for all of you out there, you can call us here, just like the fabulous people who have called earlier this evening, 562-3735, 562-3735, or 918-8678, 918-8678 to speak with Antonio Garcia, very well known in the Virginia Commonwealth University area and
My pleasure.
abroad, right?
True enough.
A few more questions for you. You spent many years freelancing as a musician, which all of us do who are musicians, I think. How did that affect your eventual teaching style at VCU?
Well, one of the things that we're trying to prepare students for more than anything else is to be prepared for performing in live situations. And it can be a little awkward if the instructors themselves haven't had that kind of exposure and opportunity in their own careers to do that first before moving out. And as I mentioned, I'm from New Orleans. I had the opportunity to gig there full-time for a half dozen years before I moved up to Chicago and then into Richmond, Virginia. So it was a great opportunity for me to see what needed to be done and to really focus on the business aspect so that our students really know how to make and keep their money in a job. There's a whole lot of business that goes into the music world, as you know, and
Yes.
it's awkward if the students only know how to play music and not how to deal with the business.
Yeah, I had it covered, you know, a guitar minor with a finance degree.
That's a good
Great.
plan.
All right, line one.
Let's see who's here. Hello, you're on with Rockitz TV.
Hi, Tony. This is Bud Tyler. I just wanted to say I'm enjoying this for the second time. My wife and I were there last month for this JO1 concert, and we've attended them, well, since before you got there. But we've always enjoyed them, and some of the jazz orchestra, too, as well. And we try to catch them, and a lot of the musicians, and try to follow them after they've graduated, and while they're still students down at Bogart's and other places around Richmond. And I know that some of them are teaching music in the Richmond area schools that have graduated, and talk to them at some concerts, those that I can recognize. And so we are into jazz very much, and just wanted to say thanks for the job that you're doing there, and please keep it up.
Well, I appreciate that, Bud, and it's great that you mentioned the Jazz Orchestra, too, because in a moment, that'll be the next music that we're going to offer here on Rockitz TV. We're going to hear this great group. It's directed by Taylor Barnett. I'm sure that you've seen him in action, not only as a trumpet player, but also as the director of the Jazz Orchestra, too. And Taylor is one of our faculty, one of our newer faculty at VCU Jazz, and also one of our alums. And when we roll it in a few minutes, you'll also be hearing from one of our alumnus, Terry Murphy, a great vocalist in town.
I know Terry very well.
And it's been such a great honor for us to have her back on campus. So in a few minutes, you'll be hearing from that great jazz orchestra, too.
I enjoyed hearing her sing at the last concert, too.
Great. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Bud, and thanks for supporting the program for so many years. We look forward to your doing so for many more.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you, Bud.
You and your wife. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
So where can jazz fans like Bud buy CDs from your jazz program? Are they available for sale in town anywhere, Tony?
Oh, thanks for asking. I appreciate that. We've got...
Free plug there?
Yes, you're very smooth with that. We've got CDs available for sale at Plan 9 locally and elsewhere. It's called It Could Happen to You by the VCU Jazz, and you'll be able to also get that at cdbaby.com.
Great.
And now I think we're getting ready to roll that piece that we talked about. This is Honeysuckle Rose, performed by the Jazz Orchestra 2 at VCU, along with Taylor Barnett as director, and this was recorded just in March.
Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose, When you're passing by, flowers droop and sigh, and I know the reason why. You're much sweeter, goodness knows, honeysuckle rose. I don't buy sugar, you just have to touch my cup. You're my sugar. It's sweet when you stir it up. When I'm taking sips from your tasted lips, seems a honey valley drips. Your confection, goodness knows, honeysuckle rose. Yeah. Your confection, goodness knows, honeysuckle rose. I don't buy sugar, 'cause you're my sugar, and your confection, goodness knows, honeysuckle
It's Terry Murphy. That was Donna Crawford on the piano, and Josh Crenshaw on the trumpet. It's the Jazz Orchestra 2.
It's very good.
Well, thanks. That was the Jazz Orchestra 2, and with Terry Murphy and a number of our student soloists as well. Terry's just a great jazz asset in town. She's got a wonderful voice, and she actually graduated with a Bachelor of Music in Jazz Studies some years ago and continues to gig around town. I'm sure she's singing somewhere every week, so look at your local listings to find her, because she's just terrific to listen to. My wife, who is a vocalist, we really enjoy hearing her. The last time we heard her before this concert was at the Richmond Jazz Society meetings. They have annual meetings and concerts the second Tuesday of every month.
Okay.
And if you go to virginiajazz.org, you can learn more about the Richmond Jazz Society. And Terry was singing with a band made up largely of our alums and students. It was Pete Anderson's Swiss Swank Account, and they were singing at the Wyndham Hill, and Terry just sounds great. So anytime we can get her back to VCU, it's a great educational experience for us.
Are you trying to right now? You can talk to her, you know, you're on TV.
Hi, Terry. Thanks for all your work. We appreciate it.
You married a musician, by the way.
Well, I
Way to
did.
go,
Her
Tony.
calling
All
is
right.
social work, but she sings as well, and this is a great dual career for her.
So a lot of your students and also the faculty are kind of touring around the country and the world right now. You guys are all over the place, right?
Well, that's true. Right now, Rex Richardson, our jazz trumpet faculty member, is in, let's see, he's in Russia right now with Victor Dvoskin, who is our jazz bass instructor and happens to be from Russia. And then just last month, let's see, earlier this month, Rex returned from Greece. And then last month, Howard Curtis, our drum instructor, was in Europe on tour. I believe we have a call coming in. Let's see what we've got here. Good evening. You're on Rockitz. I think I need to press this line.
Did we lose him?
I'm sorry, I might have lose. Please call
Call her
back.
down, call her down, call
Call
us
her
back.
down. Medic, sorry about that. Please call us back. We'll try to get you back there.
And the numbers, if you would like to call, 562-3735, 562-3735, and 918-8678, 918-8678. Now, you guys are traveling so much. How can everyone keep track of you? What's the website so that they can know where you're going to be?
Well, I appreciate your asking. The vcujazz.org website is where we house all the information about the jazz program. There are bios on the faculty. There's email links for the faculty, and there's a lot of information about our students and about our jazz major program. We're actually, even though the program is over 20 years old, we have a brand new curriculum coming in this fall that will be a great advantage, we think, for our new students. So that would be at vcujazz.org, and you can visit there 24 hours a day and see what's up. We have some sound bites on there from our CD also, and some video, so there's a little something there for everybody.
You can see Tony's credentials and see if he's actually legit or if he's just faking it, right?
That's right, you just try to dig deep, see what you can find.
We have another piece coming up, I believe, right?
Well,
In a
that's
few
true.
minutes?
That's true. Well, when we do, this next one I selected is actually from my recital of last year. Every February I have a concert where it's kind of a variety show. We put in music of all different kinds of numbers, duos, solos, quartets, jazz orchestras, sometimes string groups, choral groups. And this one is a cut of myself and Victor Devoskin, our jazz bassist. It's just the two of us. And we're playing a piece called Love Walked In by George and Ira Gershwin, certainly a very well-known composer. And on this one, I selected because I'm going to be doing various things in my presentation. I'll play the melody, which is traditionally what happens in the most traditional jazz presentations. Then I'll solo on trombone. Then I'll pass it back to Victor. Victor will solo on the bass. Then I'll do some scat singing like Terry was doing, where I'll vocally solo with Victor on bass. And then we'll do what we call trading. We'll go back and forth and pass the ideas back and forth. And this will allow us the opportunity to lead towards the recap of the tune itself. And so it's a pretty good primer on how to put together the whole basic jazz experience. So this is Love Walked In by George and Ira Gershwin with Victor Devoskin and I.
Victor DeVasco. Yes, sir.
And what were we just watching?
Well, that was Victor Devoskin, our jazz bass professor, and a fabulous bassist he is, playing with me on a great George Gershwin composition, George and Ira Gershwin, called Love Walked In. And that was from my jazz recital about a year ago. Every February I present a jazz recital with a variety of students and faculty on it. It's free of charge on a Sunday afternoon, and appreciate the opportunity to share it with the viewers here, and again to share this evening a lot of videos from the VCU Jazz program.
Yes, Antonio Garcia, Director of Jazz Studies at Virginia Commonwealth University. Thank you so much. And before we get to the last video of the evening, I want to thank you for watching us tonight. I'm Sheri Blanks. I'll be back again next Tuesday night at 9 o'clock to host next week's show for Rockitz TV. Thanks to the crew tonight as well. We have VCU videographer Kurt Blankenship and his staff. Thank you very much. David James with Quattro Vision. David, hello. Yeah, he's at the other camera over there. That's why I'm waving that way. David, thank you. Tom Wright with Glendon Studios. Thanks, Tom. Pam Hockman, the video coordinator who has helped us out so much this evening. Thank you, Pam. Paul McGill, Senior Advisor and Director, and also Man About Town. That's a good thing to have on your resume, so thanks, Paul. And Brooke Saunders, the founding father of Rockitz TV, and my buddy for many, 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 many years on the Richmond scene now, so thanks, Brooke, a whole bunch. We had a great time tonight, and I believe in just a minute we're going to do the final video of the evening. Would you like to give a brief overview of that?
I can do that. Thank you, Sheri.
And also, you know what, Reggie Pace, really quick. Your student was supposed to come here and assist you tonight with makeup and hair, and me with all that good stuff. Reggie Pace, the year is not over yet at VCU. F minus. F minus, Reg.
Good thing she's not on the books, Reg.
Yeah.
Good thing she's not on the books. I should mention that if some folks want to go out and hear some live music tonight by VCU alums and students, one of the great places to hear it in town tonight is also at Emilio's down on Broad Street at 10 o'clock tonight. There's a set by Biorhythmo, great group, and we have a number of former and current students playing in that group, including Tim Lett and Brian Hooton, Bob Miller on trumpet. Any number of folks might be performing in there, so we encourage you to check that out, as well as all the great venues in town. We have Upper East Side Restaurant, which is run by one of our students, Samson Trin. Fusion Downtown, which is run by Jared Stone, one of our former students. This last piece that we're going to play out is a piece called Bright Moments. It's arranged by Bob Hallahan. It's written by Rahsaan Roland Kirk, great jazz saxophonist. Bob is one of our jazz faculty on piano. And this was performed earlier this past academic year at VCU. You're going to hear from Bob Hallahan on piano, Mike S. on guitar, Victor Devoskin on bass, Howard Curtis on drums, myself on trombone, Rex Richardson on trumpet, Skip Gales on saxophone. That's about half of our jazz faculty, and you'll have a chance to hear them perform the melody of this tune all together. And a number of them will solo before we end up going out with the credits. So thanks again, Sheri, for a great evening.
Thank you very much.
I've enjoyed it very much.
Thank you. Me too. And Mike S., by the way, is that ESS?
It is.
My very first guitar teacher, Small World, Mike S. Unbelievable.
All right,
This is me.
Mike.
This was little me, Sheri Blanks. Yeah.
All right. Have a good evening.
Thanks.